Good morning and welcome to another presentation by Denied Truth. This presentation covers challenging your local council tax assessment and potentially claiming a refund. This information is applicable to most of the United Kingdom. Before we begin, I must advise the viewer that this is not legal advice. However, the information presented here is in fact based on legal research and current statute or current contact information has been made available. It is ultimately, though, the responsibility of the viewer for any action he or she may take as a result of this presentation. Council tax bands set the amount of council tax on a number of factors, and you may be entitled to a refund based on your particular situation. Most council tax rates are set for what the property would have sold for on April 1st, 1991 for England, and the 1st of April 2003 for Wales. As you can see from this very statement, your property is not in the same condition it was back in April of 1991 or 2003. Your property has weathered and aged some, and so as such it cannot be worth what it would have been worth in 1991 or 2003. In fact, your property may be way overassessed, and you may be entitled to a refund. Your current property, as I say, weathers and ages over time, so I would argue that how can a property value go up? If a building was built, say, 100 years ago, and you do some modifications to it to improve its efficiency or keep drafts out, replace windows, replace roofs, do other infrastructure repairs, the municipality will then tack those repair costs onto your current property. As an example, if you built a house for £100,000 and say 30 years goes by and you decide to replace the windows and the doors and the carpeting, and say that cost you £30,000, your property is now theoretically worth £130,000. The £100,000 initially plus the £30,000 that you currently invested in the property. How can this even be possible? Because the property assessment did not take into account the fact that you had to dispose of or throw out some of the older material which had been weathered. And this is a perfect example how property value can't possibly go up. The demand for the property may go up, and even banks, when they do an assessment on property, would never evaluate a property worth more today at bank value than what it was built, say, 30 years ago, as per our example. Council taxes have in some cases raised council tax rates more than the 2.99%, which is legally allowed before they have to go to a public vote, and some people may argue that that amount is 5%. Irregardless, many councils have raised council tax rates 5, 10, or even 15%, which is not permitted under the current regulations without going to a vote. These rates have not been justified, and some councils are stating this increase is to cover the cost of police or fire services. I would argue the point that the local municipality has invested in infrastructure such as the ULEZ expansion and or the installation of 5G towers, which do not benefit the local population. And in fact, 5G towers, the frequencies that are emitted from them, in some cases are detrimental to human health. There is a separate video presentation on that current topic. Councils, in some cases, have misdirected funds and invested in companies which support operations of war. These are generally defense contractors. Other councils have spent funds on infrastructure which, as I said earlier, are not needed or wanted by the local population, such as ULEZ expansion. To my knowledge, no council has done a proper property assessment which accurately reflects the current condition of your property if you're a property owner. And as such, you have a right to request a proper evaluation. I would do some research via the web and ask your local council how funds are allocated and for what purpose. Ask for an expense report and a balance sheet for the fiscal year and up to 6 years prior. You have a right to do that. If they refuse or do not provide the information you requested, file a Freedom of Information request and instruct the local council that you are withholding council tax payments under consumer protection laws. And you demand open transparency. You believe they have made a billing error dispute or billing error, and you're launching a billing error dispute. Because of the research you have now found, if you've done what I've instructed, you will have an argument against the local city council tax assessment. The other thing that a person can do, potentially, given the current road condition of the municipalities in most of the UK, you could notify the council of all the potholes that you drive over and potentially do damage to your car. It is under the Highway Act for them to repair the roads, and you can advise them of the location and then ask them why they have not repaired this pothole and allow them reasonable time to take the appropriate action to correct this. And if they don't, that is yet another argument to withhold council tax. How do I request information from the local council? You simply write to the finance department of your local city council and or file a Freedom of Information request. You, as one of the subjects, meaning the people, of the local council, do in fact have a right to this information. And many times, however, the municipality will just supply you what they feel is sufficient response, which may or may not even address your concerns. And as such, you have a right under consumer protection laws to withhold council tax payment. You are not refusing to pay, you're simply waiting for clarification, as you believe that there's a billing error dispute. I do not believe the funds that are paid into council are correctly distributed or correctly dispersed. And as such, I have a right as a consumer to request this information. You must remember that the local municipality is in fact a service corporation, and you are paying to them, so they will provide a service, which, if we deal with potholes, they have not provided. And the services also include police and fire and other things. So you have a right to see where these funds are spent and what the balance sheets are for these particular expenditures. How do I request a reevaluation for my property? You can simply contact the valuation office, and I provided a number of 0300 501 501 for England or 0300 505 505 for Wales. Now, I am aware that these numbers have changed, and as far as I know, these are the current numbers. However, you can contact the government at www.gov.uk/contact-VOA. There you will get the most current up-to-date information on how you can request a reevaluation of your current property, provided you are the property owner. I've also provided a set of links here so you can check your local council tax band. I have also provided the Valuation Office Agency Council Tax Challenge Form if you wish to challenge your current council tax. I've provided how domestic properties are assessed for council tax bands. I have also provided the contact information again for VOA, which is the Valuation Office. And I've provided 2 news articles that state authorities are holding £738,000 in overpaid council tax. And this is important because if you've overpaid your council tax based on a miscalculation or based on an improper evaluation of your property, you are in fact entitled to request a refund, and it could be up to £1,000. It could be more. You have a right to request that because you've overpaid. In other cases, people have paid council tax and then perhaps relocated to a different area, and the council tax that they've paid into the council should in fact be refunded back to them as they're no longer living there. There are other situations that the same would apply. And I've also provided a link for council tax in one area could increase by £20 to help police and fire budgets. Now, this is not restricted to one particular area. In fact, it is common that the council tax increase will affect most people, if not all. I will leave the screen here for you to write down some of this contact information. I will also provide the links in the description below. This presentation has been brought to you by Denied Truth. Denied Truth can be reached at deniedtruth@yahoo.com or at the link shown, which will direct you to a Telegram group. Denied Truth has set up several Telegram groups. There is the main Denied Truth Telegram group. There is a separate Denied Truth Telegram group for people within the United States. There is another Telegram group that deals with Canada, and there is another Telegram group that deals with issues within the United Kingdom. Each of these Telegram groups is subdivided to help direct the viewer and or contributor to the correct area. In this way, we can discuss specific topics within each subgroup instead of having all information mixed in one box and then the viewer trying to access this information and having to weed through all kinds of different legislation and figure out which one applies to them or for which purpose. And this is why these Telegram groups have been subdivided. I am available to assist people on a limited basis, as I'm doing this generally for free, and I can't spend 20 or 30 hours on a specific court case. However, I can try to guide you in the proper direction. And the main Telegram group is used for general topics of discussion which affect everyone globally. I welcome the chance to bring you additional information and presentations as time permits, and I thank you for taking the time to listen to this presentation.